Hi, welcome to the Art of Shame-Free Living podcast. Today's episode is all for entrepreneurs and leaders today. And even if you're not an entrepreneur or a leader, you might be able to listen in and see, how does this impact my life? What does this mean about me? And what can I learn from this? So open up your mind, open up your eyes, open up your insight, and see what happens for today. Okay, so what I noticed within my business and also the work of my clients, because I do a lot of coaching in business, because we don't compartmentalize, everything is related to everything. So even if someone hires me for relationship help with their partner or maybe with their kids or with money, we're also going to be focusing on business as well, because every area is interconnected. So something that I've noticed that's coming up for myself over the last several years and also my clients is that we put a ton of pressure on our business. It's like we hold it so tightly in our hand. We put this like seed that we planted of our business and we hold it into our hand and we hold it so tightly. We hold it so tightly that it literally cannot grow. There's just so much pressure that we put, so much time, so much energy that we put towards it that it actually squashes it. Sometimes we do this through overaction, actually doing too much. So I'm going to mention a few ways in which we can really squash the soul out of our business. Number one is personalization. Personalization is making someone else's behavior or making something external mean something about me, as in my worth and my value. So yep, you guessed it, shame, inadequacy, like we do. And so we don't do this consciously, right? Consciously, I have really different beliefs and I feel really good about my business or about myself or about my life. But unconsciously, you'll notice that you still don't feel that all the way through. So this work is work of congruence. I'm trying to bring my unconscious and my conscious beliefs all the way into alignment. So I believe it all the way through and I really feel it. And oftentimes we don't do this. When our business is doing really good, we feel really good. When our business is doing really poorly, we feel really bad. I used to feel like I was on this roller coaster and it was giving me whiplash and I was constantly back and forth and up and down. And I hated how I felt. I just wanted to feel good about my business, but I couldn't. And I was worried about when it wouldn't be feeling good again or when something wouldn't be doing well. And when I noticed this, I started to learn more about detachment, right? Detaching me, my worth, my value from anything external. But specifically, I started working this first in my business. And I remember the moment that I started working on this because I found this concept back in November of 2024. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks. Like this is the pressure in my business. This is my work in my business. My work to do isn't what launch do I launch next? And how can I, help people with this specific problem right now? It was like, no, let's actually turn it back to me and clear up what's happening within me so that I can more see clearly to help my clients and help the people that want to work with me. And so I started to notice this personalization issue. I started to work on this detachment. How is my worth and my value not interconnected to anything outside of me, especially my business? And I started to feel so much better about my business. And if you had asked me any point through 2025, how's your business doing? I would have said, it's doing great. It's doing so well. Even though I didn't even know externally if it really was or not. I wasn't basing that on things that were happening outside of myself. I was basing that on how I felt about it, how I felt about myself within my business. And I felt so good. So number one, I would say personalization. Number two is making decisions from triggers. So if I'm feeling emotionally activated and I go write an email or I launch a course or I overwork or I underwork and procrastinate, all of that is coming from this root of inadequacy. And it is blocking me from actually taking the action that I want to be taking. Or maybe I do take the action, but it doesn't work in the way that I thought. It doesn't feel like I thought it was going to. Because the energy behind your actions, your choices, your decisions is so much more important than anything else, so much more important than the action itself. And it impacts the action. Other people can feel it. You can send an email and it can be beautiful and it can be heartfelt and people can respond and they can feel it. Or you can send out an email and it doesn't feel good to you and you just sent it out anyways. And it's not just online entrepreneurs that feel this way. My husband and I are launching a new business that's actually more of a sit down brick and mortar type business. It's a home remodeling company. And there's triggers and activations that come up around that. And if I interact with our employees, if I interact with my clients, if I interact with the project from that activation, it always impacts how the project goes. It impacts how everybody feels within that sphere. And so I want to make sure I'm clearing up what's happening within me so that I can best show up for my business. And I can't do that when I'm feeling activated, when I'm feeling triggered. I need to attend to myself, attune to myself first before I keep going. The next thing is money. Our relationship with money and our relationship with business are so closely connected that we think they're like one thing. And it's actually separating those two things and working on them as if they were two separate realms, which they are, which really helps to clear it up. If I have these beliefs around money, like there isn't enough, or I don't want to flaunt my wealth and I don't want other people to feel bad, or I don't want to outshine other people, or I don't want to be like too successful because I might leave people behind. There's all of these beliefs we can have about success and business and money and wealth that are so interconnected to the growth of our business. If we're not comfortable around more wealth, if we're not comfortable around us individually being the ones creating our wealth, that's always going to come into play with our business and our business growth. So I would advise you to separate those two things, work on your relationship with money, work on your relationship with business, your beliefs about both, and your beliefs about you within each of those realms. The last thing I'll say is the pressure itself is pressure on the business, right? I'm just holding on to it really tightly. I'm thinking about it all the time. I'm ruminating about it all the time. I'm making decisions from this ruminating space. I have a hard time turning off my business mind when I come back home to do something else or when I'm spending time with my family. It's just constantly on the go. That intense pressure of time and of energy and of effort actually squishes the growth. That is holding the seed so tightly that it can't actually grow. So as you start to work through these different realms, you'll notice that you start to feel much better about your business, regardless of what's happening. But I would also suggest, from what I've seen in my business and others, is that it actually starts to expand and grow and become more abundant and actually more externally successful as well. It's like this is the fuel for success. I'm working with a client right now and we talk a lot about business because it's all connected with everything. And we first started talking about their money beliefs. And so we started talking about money and nervous system regulation, money and opening up that there's maybe lots of different ways that money can come in. We started working on manifestation and they started seeing that money was actually coming in multiple ways through other people and through different forms. And that started to release some of the pressure from their business. We started to work on intuition and decision-making from our own personal authority in a way that feels good and is also very unique to us because we brought in the element of human design. And as we started to talk about human design in business, these ideas, these creative ideas started to come through and flow through, and they started to come up with new ideas in their business that have been working really well for them. But even beyond what's working really well, they feel really good about it and they feel really different about both money and business. So I would encourage you to start working through these things that I talked about today and releasing that pressure in your business and letting it really grow, letting it really become abundant. If this is work that you would like to do with me as your guide, I would love to do that. I love doing this work. I love coaching on business. It's one of my most loved things to coach on, actually, is manifestation, money, and business. I love relationships of all kind, and those seem very relationship focused to me. Our relationship with our business, our relationship with money, our relationship with ourselves, and that's all interconnected. So I have one spot left for one-on-one coaching for 2026. You can find out more details at coachcrystal.ca/miracle. It includes my retreat. It includes my creation room, which is my bigger group program, and Voxer coaching and Zoom calls every month. It's a really great in-depth, deep dive way to do this. And if you're looking for someone on your side to do this kind of work with you at a deep level, I'm here for that. I also have retreats that I do a couple of times a year. I'm doing one in September. You can go to coachcrystal.ca/retreat to find out more information about that. We just booked another Airbnb, so one of them's full. We're getting a second one and it's going to fill up as well, I'm sure. So come and join us there. And I like to tell people it's like several months of coaching in 4 days. And it really does feel like that. It's intense, it's deep, it's healing. It's so good. So if that's something you're interested in, I would love for you to come join us. And if you've been kind of on the fence and just listening on the podcast and kind of doing the work on your own, but feeling like you want to just take a little step forward, just a tiny step forward, come to coachcrystal.ca/creation room, CREATION, and come join us there in my group program for women. It is open for registration right now. I hope this was helpful for you, and we will see you next time.